Welcome to Fx-Fooball Explained. Today we are discussing what's gone wrong at Chelsea this season. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Chelsea went trophyless in the 2021/22 season, but the campaign was far from a disappointment. The Blues finished third in the Premier League and reached 2 cup finals, only losing both on penalties. After a summer of extravagant spending that saw players like Wesley Fofana, Marc Cucurella, Raheem Sterling, and others arrive at Stamford Bridge, the Blues seemed ready to take the next step and challenge for the league title. Chelsea suffered a 4-0 loss at the hands of Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium in the third round of the FA Cup on Sunday and exited the tournament. Chelsea concluded their FA Cup campaign in the ongoing 2022-23 season on Sunday night after suffering a humiliating 0-4 loss against Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium and losing to Fulham 2-1 in the Premier League. Prior to the FA Cup match, Chelsea suffered a 0-1 loss to City at home on January 6, which was their 6th loss of the Premier League 2022-23 season. While the team currently sits 10th in the Premier League standings with 4 wins and 4 draws to their credit, here's a look at the 5 possible reasons behind Chelsea's downfall this season. Key players leaving and panic signings for Chelsea. Chelsea's miserable run of form across competitions comes after an extravagant spending spree in the summer. While big names like Antonio Rudiger, Andreas Christensen, Timo Werner, and many others left the club earlier this season, the club also signed players like Raheem Sterling and Omuri Hutchinson. However, the club also made some questionable signing by roping in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Denis Zakaria. Chelsea's transition after the Roman Abramovich episode. All of Chelsea's accounts were bronze late during the 2021-22 season as the Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich was sanctioned by the UK government due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The ownership led by Todd Bailey then took over the club this year in May, but the takeover was not an easy one. The behind-the-scenes drama hit new heights after multiple reports claimed that the owner and manager Thomas Tuchel disagreed over several signings. It is pertinent to mention that Tuchel was sacked by the club after a poor start to the ongoing season. Chelsea's inability to lay down a long-term plan. Although Chelsea reached the heights of its glory under Abramovich's ownership, the club certainly made several poor decisions. The club sacked managers after a period of poor results, even after being a manager who is financially backed in the transfer window. Chelsea has notably had 17 different managers in the last 20 years. Injury woes for Chelsea in the 2022-23 season. Former Brighton manager Graham Potter was handed the club's responsibility after Tuchel's shock exit. However, the season has been marred by injuries for the new manager. Potter has been unlucky to miss prominent players like Ben Chilwell, Reece James, Wesley Fofana, N'Golo Kante, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek among others to injuries. Chelsea's transfer policy. Chelsea have failed to return with desirable results this season, despite spending a record amount of £278.4 million on 8 new players. This was the record money spent in a single transfer window by any club. The amount has gone up to £340 million following the January arrivals of defender Benoit Badiashile, midfielder Andre Santos and striker David Detro Fofana. The fundamental errors made by the club are what have kept them in transition. Every manager likes to implement their system, and not giving them time to use their signings is simply a waste. At Chelsea, every incoming manager has to work with the players they have been given, and this hardly works in the long run. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.